But listen to where they came from. Kirk Wanganui College, Anton Oliver Marlborough Boys, Keith Nelson, Auckland Grammar School, Tony Davies, King's College, Earl Curtinson, Pat Silverstream, Mark Ellis, who's been one of the world's characters, and Mark, of course, from Wellington College. These are boys from right around the country, boys when they came wearing that blue jersey, who later became men wearing a black jersey. 65 All Blacks you have produced. No other club has ever produced as many. And so I want to go on record as saying in my own club this, that if I'm asked what is the greatest rugby club in the world, I don't say Toulon, I don't say Toulouse, I don't say Munster. For me, the #1 rugby nation in the world is New Zealand. The #1 rugby club has to be the University of Otago. You have produced more All Blacks than anyone else. And that's the jersey that you guys played for today. Where does that leave us? Southern. Where does that leave us? I believe really that when you stop to look at it, there is a certain element that we have that you may not have in such a level. You see, Gaskell in his book, in his short story, The Big Game, the central figure is not a university person. The central figure is a southern man, and his name was Jack Hoare. And the university forwards in the lead up to this game are petrified of him. Absolutely frightened stiff. Frightened stiff of his intensity, frightened stiff of what he would say, and frightened stiff of how he would conduct himself on the field. And I remember him talking to you, Rick Mains, and saying to you, Ricky, take all the advice from everybody, but just sort the chaff out from the straw. And he had wonderful turns of phrase, and I remember you looking at him and thinking, he'll never ever forget that. And as always, I was a little in the background, nosing around and noting it. Not only was he a tough, hugely strong man, but he had about 7 forwards like him there. I want to dwell on just one of them. The guy, most of them, incidentally, they came from the hillside workshops. They trained as welders and boilermakers, and that is the strength of that particular team, which you see round the corner. They were physical workers. One of them was 9 stone 7, playing against the Springboks in 1937, and representing Otago on the side of the scrum. And when the biggest Springbok forward put his hand out like that to fend him off, Roy Napier grabbed his hand and broke it. The bloke had to leave the tour. So what comes through in the short story is the fact that this club has produced some very tough people over the years. But really what it does, this club, is that it represents this area. It's a southern club. It's suburban. It's the mudflatters that are here. It's the magpies. We don't have the elite from Wanganui Collegiate. We don't have them from all over the bloody place. We've had to make do over the years with what we've had. And why have we done well? Second best of anybody who's playing in this. We've done well because this is a family club. The most pleasing thing to me coming back to this club today is the noise which is going out in that room there. The second most pleasing thing were the kids getting their awards earlier, because this solidifies family and really makes it what rugby is about. We didn't haul our All Blacks in from anywhere. Laurie Mains, Caversham School, McAndrew Intermediate, King's High. Lindsay Clark, where are you? Have you gone home because you knew I was speaking and you get bored? Lindsay Clark, Caversham School, McAndrew Intermediate, King's High. Gary Sear, Andy Bay, and then silly enough to go to Tahuna School, Tahuna, and then on to Bayfield. Yes. Local schools. And so that's what this club is about. It is a local club. So where do the Cavanaghs come in? They come in right now. Because you see, this club was first captained by old Vic Cavanagh, who the trophy is named after. When the two clubs joined together, it was called Southern then. It was a unified club in 18 99. Vic Cavanagh was the first captain. He captained this team for a number of years, then he coached it. And his coaching was such that Southern won 3 premierships. But that's not what this is all about. He then became an All Black selector, and after the First World War, he went down and he coached you jokers. And he coached you in a record that I would suggest is better than anyone else's coaching record of club cricket will ever be. From 1923 to 1934, 11 years, what happens? He wins the championship 10 times. So that's why he's in awe. His son is the Southern Club's favourite son, young Vic. Together they joined up forces, and in 1936 they coached Otago, defended the Ranfurly Shield 8 times. The legendary story about Vic Cavanagh is quite simply this. This is the young Vic now. That in 1949, when the All Blacks went to South Africa, there were 11 players from his Otago Ranfurly Shield team that went away with that side, which lost the series over there 4-0. The point was that Vic Cavanagh stayed coaching Otago, and they held the Ranfurly Shield right through the year. He is unquestionably, and I'm sure Laurie would reinforce this, the greatest coach that hasn't coached the All Blacks. And I think that that is just standard around any rugby circle at all. I played in a number of Cavanagh memorials, once against Graham Poland from your club when he went ballistic. He had been drinking 19, he was building himself up, he drank 19 pints of milk, ate a tin of concentrated milk powder. This was his way of getting big, ate a tin of concentrated milk powder, watching Emma Peel in The Avengers. Boys, I tell you, anybody who was that stupid not to be looking at Emma Peel's legs instead of eating bloody milk was a nutter. This guy was a nutter. He used to have a tape recorder going beside him, and he would be, it would have messages of who to kill on Saturday. My first game was against you guys as a senior. Jim Darling, who was my captain, is standing over there. We went to Carisbrook. We scored first 3-0, but it didn't happen there. It happened before the game. I would go into the toilets and I'd hear an extraordinary thump. And everybody has a nervous pee, and I thought, what's that? And I heard this voice yell out, Ingalls! Ingalls! Gary Ingalls was my fellow lock. And then I heard the other arm go and smash into the wall, and the voice yelled out, Deaker! Deaker! Well, you don't have a pee then, you have a nervous shit. Very quickly. Exactly. So, we went on the field. Gary went off after two rucks. He was decked by this guy. And Red Arnold said to me, Dick, you go back and mark Graham Poland. I said, no, Red, I'm a two specialist. So Bill Pay came on, and he had his nose broken in the 5th one, and it was chaos. And I always remember, because there was a big affiliation between these two clubs, and I hope you understand it, that after the game, Dr. Oliver Chapman came into our dressing room, and he wanted us to be part of a report to go to the Rugby Union to get Poland banned. And no one in the Southern group said anything. No one opened their mouth. And I thought, this is strange, because I've never kept mine shut for very long. I thought, shit. Nobody spoke. 2 years later, we played against University at Tahuna. And there was nothing much said in the build-up to it, but it was payback time. And Clarkie may have difficulty if I tell this story in its entirety, and I'm not going to, Lindsay. But 5 varsity players went off that day. One bloke went off, and he was yelled out to by, I thought it was Red Arnold, but I think it might have been Lindsay Clark. Yelled out to him, there's nothing wrong with you, you dopey bugger, you're just frightened to hang on. Those were the days when you could ruck, and the rucking that day was something that I have never seen before, nor hope to ever see again. 5 off, we won 19-3, and she was square. And I hope that there's not another game like that again. This trophy then encompasses what this club is about and what your club is about. A rich heritage, a wonderful tradition played by clubs with totally different makeups. And these are the 2 clubs that have dominated Dunedin club rugby for such a long time. You guys have won over 50, I think we've won 23. So let me just say, since I probably will never speak at this Southern Club again, how proud I am of this club, because it has always reflected its community. It is traditionally working class, and it's based on strong family values. And the most important word around here is one that I think we all should take away with us. It's a simple word, it's loyalty. Loyalty to your club, loyalty to your mates, loyalty to your team, loyalty to your family. That's what I think this club is about. And today, we're here, and in a moment Laurie will speak to Ian, to honour a great Southern man. Somebody who personified the qualities of loyalty. I was lucky enough to be coached by Stevie. Stevie's coaching was to do with total determination, dedication, honesty and hard work. I didn't have a lot of those qualities at that time, but he stuck with me, and I want to acknowledge him, as I'm sure Laurie is going to in some depth, as one of the great coaches that Club Rugby has had. But I also want to acknowledge one other thing. I want to acknowledge his wife, June, who for me, particularly when I captained the Colts, probably kept me out of jail, and there'll be nobody laughing at that because we all know it's true. Probably looked after me and fed me as much as I was getting fed anywhere else, and was just such a support to our team. June, you've been a magnificent support to Ellen over the years, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Thank you. So in conclusion on this whole business associated with the Cavanagh Memorial and a great rugby family, there are lots of very fine rugby families around here, and the Stevens family, all of you, Ian, Alan, everybody who's put into this club, you've given it your best shot. A club, I believe, is only as good as the men in it. This club is the best it can be because, Alan, people like you gave it their very best, and we thank you.
Before I can have the two captains up to say a couple of words as well, Tay Walden and Sam Stewart. Sam first. I'm not a radio presenter, I won't pretend to be, but no, very well spoken, mate. I really appreciate what you've said about the club, and I hope the boys really listen to I know we know, but to remember who's played in the jersey before us. And I think every time we walk in the club rooms and look at their honours board, it's very, very special. And no, thank you for those kind words. Also, I totally agree with what you said about the Southern Club and the family here. Today it was cool to see the young kids get player of the day and whatnot. And I remember as a kid that age, you know, you get that ice cream or whatever you get for player of the day. It means a lot. Like, yeah. So well done, kids. And it's great to see all the old boys, stalwarts, and members of the club here today. So well done. I hope you guys enjoyed a couple of stories, lies, whatever they be, and a couple of beers tonight. But yeah, on the game. Obviously, the ground was underwater only a week ago, and we knew it was going to be a fight up front, and it totally was. You could say it was a game of two halves, really, in terms of camping in each other's territory when we had the wind. In the first half, I think we camped well into the southern half, and we just didn't take the points that we probably needed or deserved, or what we tried hard, but we only walked away with 5, and it wasn't enough. Considering the wind in the second half, and then Southern camped on our line and we couldn't get to the other end. That's plain and simple how it happened, and that was pretty much game. So well done, boys. We tried hard, but we really didn't work hard enough in the first half to put the points up front. But heads up, we've got Tyre next week back at home on the Varsity Oval. We'll look to roll them. So Southern boys, might see you later in the season hopefully, and all the best. Mitch, thanks for refereeing today. We can't do it without you. I'd have the varsity lads on their pins and bump toast to good Southern side.
Cheers for that, Sturgey. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank all the old boys for coming out tonight. It's great to see such a packed clubhouse, and we appreciate your support, and it's good to see you guys sharing your stories and reliving what it was like back in those days. We were lucky enough to have Deaker come in and speak to us during the week, and that really got the boys up, and we heard a few stories like the one you just heard about what the games were like back then, and I think today's one was very similar to those ones. It was a game of two halves, very tight, low scoring, and a few big hits in there, but it was an awesome game. I'd like to congratulate the varsity boys on the effort today. You couldn't really do too much with the ball except for go forward, and it was more of a forwards dominated game, but I thought you guys did bloody well. That first half, like you said, Sturge, you parked us up down in our half. Credit to our boys, we held them to only 5 points, but then again in the second half the exact same thing happened to us. We got you down there and you guys just, we couldn't get past you, and that's credit to your defence. You guys showed a lot of ticker and a lot of courage to hold us out there. I'd like to wish you guys all the best for the rest of your season. Not many games to go, but you guys are in a good spot, and just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure we will see you in the final few weeks. To the Southern boys, heads up. Like I said, it was a tough day. Not everything was going to go our way, but we got there in the end. We got the result we were after, and we're just going to keep ticking along. A few more weeks to go. Just keep building each week, and hopefully secure that spot in the top 4. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Sportsmed Otago, Absolute Health and Fitness, Web Ferry Lawyers, Pit, The Rock, Sweet Dreams, and Armstrong Prestige. Your continued support's always much appreciated, and you keep us out on the field, so thanks for that. And just once again, I'd like to wish you, all the old boys, a good night tonight, and to the Southern boys and varsity boys, if you want to hang around, have a beer, and share a few stories with those old boys, I'm sure they'd appreciate that greatly. So let's have a good night, and yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.